I found the camera 3 weeks after my wife died. It was tucked behind an old shoebox in the corner of her closet, hidden beneath sweaters I hadn't touched since the funeral. I didn't know what made me look there that day. Maybe grief. Maybe instinct. We'd been together for 14 years, married for 10. She died suddenly, a car accident late at night, and I never got to say goodbye. I'd been walking through life in a daze since the funeral, sleepwalking through memories, trying to find pieces of her in blankets, mugs, and old voicemail messages. Finding that camera felt like a gift. Something she left behind, maybe a surprise message. I thought, just maybe, I'd get to see her smile again, hear her voice. When I finally charged it and turned it on, my hands trembled. There were only 3 videos. The first 2 were ordinary, a vacation in Maine, her birthday last year, seeing her move, hearing her laugh. It broke me all over again. But it was the last video, time-stamped just 1 week before her death, that changed everything. The footage was shaky at first, then steadied as she set the camera on a table. She sat down, looked directly into the lens, and smiled. But it wasn't the smile I knew. It was cold, measured, like she was preparing for something. She began speaking, slowly. If you're watching this, I'm probably gone. I need you to know the truth. My pulse spiked. She paused, then continued. There are things about me you don't know. Things I've hidden since before we met. I've done things I can't undo. She opened a small box on the table and pulled out a bundle of passports, 5, all with different names. My real name isn't Emily, she said. I was running when I met you. I tried to stop, tried to build a life, but someone found me again. The accident wasn't an accident. They're tying up loose ends. Tears ran down my face as she leaned closer. There's a key in the attic, taped under the 3rd beam. Take it. Get out of town. They'll come for you too. The video ended with static. I sat there for hours, frozen. Everything I knew was a lie. My wife didn't just die, she disappeared behind a mask. And now I'm holding the key to secrets I never asked for, wondering if the next knock at my door will be the last thing I ever hear. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, the key clenched in my fist, staring at the wall as the reality of what I'd seen began to settle in. How many nights had we spent together under that roof, laughing, arguing, dreaming, while she carried the weight of a life I never knew about? I replayed every memory, searching for signs. Her fear of loud noises. The way she'd always sit facing the door in restaurants. Her refusal to ever talk about her family or childhood. It had all been there, hiding in plain sight. But I hadn't seen it. I didn't want to. The next morning, I went to the bank she mentioned. The name on the deposit box wasn't hers, at least not the one I knew. But they accepted the key, and what I found inside made the video look like a footnote. Stacks of old newspaper clippings, each marked with red ink. Photos of people I didn't recognize, most of them crossed out. Detailed maps, surveillance logs, and a black notebook filled with names, dates, transactions. It looked like something out of a spy movie, but this was real. And on the last page was my name, circled, dated 1 month ago. That's when it truly hit me. She knew they would come for me too. Not just because I was her husband, but because I might know too much. Because love makes you careless. Because she'd told me things in her sleep, maybe. Or because I'd asked the wrong questions. I started to feel paranoid. Every car that slowed near my house. Every call that hung up without a word. Every shadow that lingered too long. I couldn't trust anyone. Not even the police, especially not them. There were names in that notebook. Badges. Politicians. People you're supposed to trust. I changed my number, wiped my social media, moved into a motel 2 towns over. I kept the notebook hidden, checked the locks twice every night, slept with a baseball bat beside my bed. But I knew it wouldn't be enough. Sometimes, I'd dream of her, not the woman from the video, but the one I married. Her head on my chest, her laughter in the morning, the way she danced barefoot in the kitchen, and I'd wake up crying, realizing that maybe I never really knew her at all, but I loved her. God help me, I still did. Even now, knowing what I know, maybe especially now, because despite everything, she tried to save me. That video wasn't a confession, it was a warning. A last act of love from someone who had spent a lifetime running. So now I run too, not out of fear, but out of duty, to finish what she started, to find out who was behind this, to make sure they can't erase anyone else. I don't know how this ends. Maybe I disappear too. Maybe one day someone finds this story and doesn't believe a word. But if you're watching this, if you're reading this, know that love isn't always what it seems. Sometimes it's a disguise. Sometimes it's the only truth in a world full of lies. And sometimes it's the very reason they want you gone. 2 nights ago, someone tried to break into my motel room. I heard the door handle jiggle just past 2 a.m., followed by a soft knock, 3 quick taps, then silence. I didn't move. I held my breath, listening as footsteps padded away. When I finally opened the door an hour later, there was no one there, but taped to the peephole was a photograph of me, taken from across the street. On the back, a message: "Stop digging." My hands shook for hours after that. I knew I should run again, pick a new town, change my name. But I couldn't. Not yet. Not until I understood why Emily, or whatever her real name was, had been targeted in the first place. I started reading through her notebook more carefully. Patterns emerged. Symbols, dates tied to news stories, deaths, fires, missing people. She had been tracking them, maybe exposing them, and maybe she got too close. In one entry, she mentioned someone named M. Halberd. That name appeared again and again, sometimes with stars, sometimes circled in red. I searched him online. Nothing. Not a social media account, not a business listing. But I did find a news article buried in a local archive from 17 years ago. Woman found dead in river. Foul play suspected. The woman's name? Also Emily, different last name, different photo. But my Emily's face stared back at me. My head spun. Was she using a dead woman's identity, or had she faked her own death before? What kind of life had she lived before me, and why did she pick me? I remembered a night early in our marriage, how she had woken up screaming from a nightmare, drenched in sweat, whispering a name I didn't recognize. When I asked her, she laughed it off. Just a dream, she said. I let it go. I wish I hadn't. It's been 43 days since I found the camera. I haven't spoken to anyone I know since. I change motels every 3 days. I dye my hair. I pay in cash. And yet, I can feel them closing in. This morning, the motel clerk gave me a message. No name, just a room number, and the words: "She left something for you." I didn't go. I packed my things and left through the back door. But now I wonder, what if it was real? What if there's still more she wanted me to know? I'm tired, but I can't stop. She died trying to escape them. If I stop now, it means they win. It means her death was just another footnote, and I won't let that happen. Maybe I'll never find out everything. Maybe the truth is too dangerous. But I owe her this much. I owe myself the truth. And if they come for me tonight, I'll be ready. Because I'm not just running anymore. I'm hunting.